So what advice would you have for women?
Okay, hold on, I might have made a note about that. I have all kinds of advice. The first thing is, I don't think, as women in business, I feel like we get hung up on we have to be friends with everyone we're doing business with. And that's exhausting, and it's not going to be a reality. My advice is you don't have to be friends with everybody, you have to have good working relationships. And if you don't, get out of that working relationship. You don't have to stay in it, but you also don't have to be friends. I think that's a big mistake that we make.
That's like a big wow.
Yes.
Man.
That you guys, yeah. And I think it's a woman thing overall too. I mean, it's just we're brought up that way. Be nice. Be curious. What can you do to help them? Yeah. And so it's hard to separate that sometimes. I think at work.
Yeah, I had to break up with a consultant once. I'd actually hired a consultant. I love the consultant, but she had someone sub-consulting for her, and it was not working. And at first I thought it was just me. I just thought, okay, it's just me, and I'll get through this. Well, then other people started saying things about, she doesn't get who we are, it doesn't fit our culture, like this is not working. And so I went to her boss and told her that we were going to have to relieve her from the contract, the subcontractor, not her. And she said, well, I'll let her know. And I said, I think I should. I think, woman to woman, like I think I need to be the one to do it. I forced myself to take her to lunch. And I told her, like, we're gonna have a serious conversation, but I want us to go to lunch because it could be a 2-minute conversation that's very ugly and huffy and emotional, and we both walk out and we're unhappy with it. Or we can force ourselves to sit down over a meal, and we have to be there until we're done finishing. And we did. And the conversation was so much deeper, and we left with an understanding of, quite honestly, we just didn't get along, and we weren't gonna work together. But it was still favorable. And that's another piece of advice is, I highly recommend that when you leave any situation, you leave gracefully. Genevieve can tell you, I always say, how did you leave it? If it was an uncomfortable moment, how did you leave it? And if you were my friend and you said, I had this conversation, it got kind of ugly, that would be my question to you. Ultimately, my question would be, can you go to the grocery and run into Karen at the grocery store in the bread aisle and still say, how are you? And wish them well genuinely. And if we can't, and I like her a lot, if you can't, then you probably could have done something differently.